Thank you for joining us on this episode of PTDF Update. In a bid to appraise judges and justices of the Supreme Court and other superior courts of records on the fundamentals of the signed Petroleum Industry Act, PIA, to enable them contextualize the prescriptions of the legislation and judiciously deploy their interpretative discretion and wisdom in the overriding national interest, Petroleum Technology Development Fund (PTDF) organized a 2-day National Oil and Gas Workshop themed Petroleum Industry Act, New Legal and Fiscal Regime in the Nigerian Oil and Gas Industry. The event, which held at PTDF headquarters in Abuja, was superintended by the Minister of State, Petroleum Resources, Chief Timi Silva, and the Chief Justice of Nigeria and Chairman of Board of Governors of the National Judicial Institute, Honorable Dr. Justice Ibrahim Tanko Mohammed.
It is indeed a great honor to give these remarks at this momentous occasion of the National Oil and Gas Workshop for Justices and Judges 2021 with the theme Petroleum Industry Act, New Legal and Fiscal Regime in the Nigerian Oil and Gas Industry. I am particularly pleased because this engagement is with the judiciary, members of whom are critical stakeholders in the PI implementation process. Given the national and international interest this law has generated, there seems to be little doubt that the judiciary's dockets will soon be populated by disputants whose opinions differ on how the law should be operationalized. It is therefore necessary that the distinguished members of the judiciary should acquaint themselves with the philosophy and thrust of the law, with emphasis on those areas that are likely to be most contentious. I want to place on record my gratitude to Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari for his immense support and guidance, which culminated in the assenting of the PIB into law on the 16th of August 2021. I also want to express my profound gratitude to the distinguished and honorable lawmakers who worked assiduously on passage of the law, which finally broke the jinx, ensuring that the PIB, which is now PIA, did not suffer the same fate as those before it.
Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN, Honorable Dr. Justice Ibrahim Tanko Mohammed, described the PTDF NJI workshop as a regular feature on the NJI's calendar, which consistently impacts on the output of the judicial officers. He expressed confidence that the workshop will further expose justices and judges to fundamental development, thereby enabling them to build capacity on the relevant laws governing oil and gas industry.
This workshop over the years has remained a regular feature on the Institute's calendar, and its impacts on the output of judicial officers who have attended this forum in the past have been nothing but positive. The theme of this year's workshop, Petroleum Industry Act, the new legal and fiscal regime in the Nigerian oil and gas industry, is especially apt in considering the recently enacted legislation, which expectedly has introduced innovations in the oil and gas sector. In light of the foregoing, this year's workshop will further expose our justices and judges to fundamental developments thereby enabling them to build their capacity on the relevant laws governing the oil and the gas sector.
Executive Secretary, PTDF, Dr. Bello Aliugusau, revealed that the fund's sponsorship of the training is in pursuance of its capacity-building mandate for the oil and gas industry, saying that the National Oil and Gas Workshop for Judicial Officers was considered very crucial, viewing the imperatives of appreciating the unique regime of the oil and gas sector codified in the new Act.
This is to yet another workshop that's been organized by the PTDF and the National Judicial Institute. This is actually the third time this workshop is taking place. But this year is particularly important because of a very important issue, that of the recent putting in place into law a new Petroleum Industry Act. Actually, the theme of today's workshop revolves largely around this particular issue. We all know that this is a particularly important piece of legislation for this country. And for some of us who have been in this business for a long time, we know that it has been in the offing for over 2 decades.
Also explained that the workshop was being convened in furtherance of the statutory mandate of the NJI as enshrined in Section 3(2) of its Act, which makes provision for the Institute to serve as principal focal point of judicial activities relating to the promotion of efficiency and improvement in the quality of justice delivery.
Consequently, it is expected that the innovation introduced by the Petroleum Industry Act will give rise to legal issues among stakeholders in the sector that will require the attention of the courts. Hence, the need for this collaborative effort between the PTDF and the NJI to update the judicial officers on this
Dr. Habib Nuhu, the Special Advisor to the President on National Resource Development, makes the introductory presentation titled The Overview of the Petroleum Industry Act 2021. Dr. Nuhu gave government's justification and the philosophy behind the new law, and while commending PTDF for a timely intervention in line with its capacity building mandate for the oil and gas industry, said that the workshop will no doubt engender delivery of desired value proposition across stakeholders and ensure proper understanding of the new law by the judges and justices.
A rebirth of an are absolutely enshrined by the law. So to quickly add to some of the upstream elements administration have mentioned. So beyond this, Nigeria contemplated that we have a very big challenge. Today there are all manner of litigation and mutual awards against enemies. And Nigeria, we don't have the financial capacity to meet up with this obligation. And at the same time, we don't want to be charged with expropriation of rights and properties.
Dr. Lawan Mamman, one of the discussants and resource person to the workshop, said the significance of the exercise organized by PTDF cannot be overemphasized, as it will acquaint them with technical oil and gas areas that are hitherto opaque to the judicial officers. He said the workshop will lead to the development of our case law in Nigeria relating oil and gas sector.
Actually, the significance and relevance of this workshop cannot be overemphasized. You know, the oil and gas industry is a technical area, and there is always need for the judicial system to be very much aware of this area. And they cannot know this area very well without trainings of this nature, because by the training of lawyers and judges, they don't go into technical oil and gas areas or energy matters. So it's really very important that the PTDF is taking up this challenge as one of its mandates to educate the judicial sector in these technical oil and gas areas. And this will help greatly in enhancing their capacity to adjudicate over matters that are coming before them. And it will also consequently lead to the development of our case law in Nigeria in the area of oil and gas.
Honorable Justice Adebukola Banjoku, a judge of the Court of Appeal Lagos Division, also commended the organizers of the workshop, affirming that the engagement has exposed them to issues related to the PIA and the renewable energy, which she said will aid her judicial in concluding remark, attested that PTDF-NJI collaborations and partnership has over the years impacted in providing meaningful contribution to the development of judiciary and help in bringing about more vibrant judiciary reach in oil and gas industry and other related matters.
Because judicial officers, by the nature of their job, they need to continuously be educated in respect of new happenings on the global stage and even locally. For instance, this particular year 2021 workshop is focused essentially on the new legislation, which is the Petroleum Industry Act. This is a very new area of the law. And this demands that we need to create awareness, because with the passing of the law and passing of the legislation and being a law now, in no time, many issues will come before the courts between stakeholders and the regulators. So that's why we felt that judicial officers should always be educated, should always be trained in that special area of the law, so that the tip of their fingers, they should be able to know what the law says. So that's why. And we equally find it very, very important to let you know that this collaboration and partnership over the years has meaningfully contributed to the development of the judiciary, because it makes for a very vibrant judiciary, and it makes for a very good engagement with your industry as well, and the PTDF, in terms of the benefits therefrom. When we do these collaborations, certainly the after effect is on both sides. It helps the judiciary and it helps the PTDF as well. So we're indeed very grateful for the opportunity to collaborate with PTDF.
The National Oil and Gas Workshop is the third in the series of workshops organized by Petroleum Technology Development Fund (PTDF) in conjunction with National Judicial Institute (NJI). This goes a long way to reassure Nigerians and the international community on the transparency and accountability of President Muhammadu Buhari administration towards promoting of efficiency and improvement in the quality of justice delivery. That is PTDF update for today. Thanks for watching. For comments, questions or contributions,